Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another coach chat. And as you can see, we've got some beautiful company here. Finally, female coaches. We've been getting a lot of flack in the past that we do not do enough female coaches. It's not because we don't want to, but you have to find them and they have to be willing to. But Emily Calderon is here, and Emily Calderon is always willing to share her knowledge. And she's got some knowledge to share as well. So that's a good thing. For all of you people in the room, please let us know, like a lot of you are already doing, that you are in the room and where you are from. That's always fun to see and fun to hear that we've got people from all over the world joining in our chats. The idea is that we're going to have Emily talk to us about video analysis because that is her specialty. She's a coach. She's a regular hockey coach. She's not just a video analyst as well, but highly specialized as a video analyst for the Belgian Red Lions, the Belgian national men's team. She's been doing video analysis for one of the top clubs here in Belgium, Waterloo Ducks, where she's also the assistant coach for the reigning EHL championships. We still have to mention that. Still hurts that's a Belgian club and not a Dutch club, but okay. But today we're going a little bit back into the past also for Emily and into her past as a coach for youth teams and youth divisions and look at what we can do with video analysis, or we should not do maybe for video analysis for our youth team. So that is the idea. Okay, a lot of you are already in the room and telling me where you're from, and it's fun to see that we've got people from all continents again here, from Africa, from Zimbabwe, South Africa, from Wales, from UK, from Argentina, from Spain, from Holland. Obviously, we too are living in Belgium here, so we've got people from all over the place again, so that's always fun to see and fun to share that knowledge. We've had a pre-recorded presentation from Emily. We did that yesterday or the day before yesterday, so we're going to watch that as a video right now. But do not hesitate to ask all of your questions in the chat here during the presentation, and at the end of the presentation, some 20 minutes or so, we are coming back live to you for our Q&A. So, Emily, welcome.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, we are going to mute our mics and then we are going to go to our presentation. So everybody enjoy and see you in 20 minutes for the Q&A.
So hello, I'm Emily Calderon. I'm here to give you a small introduction on video analysis for youth coaches. What I want to talk to you about mostly is how to introduce video analysis to your players. So give them a first contact with video analysis. What is most important? The things that we're going to talk about today is a bit what your goals are. So what do you want to achieve with your video analysis towards your team? What do you need to do this in a good way? When would you start? What's a good age to start at? And then once you've decided that, how do you start with it? The next question would be, what do you really show to your players? And then to finish off, I want to just talk a little bit about the dangers or the difficulties that you might come across. At the end, I'm sure there's some time for a bit of Q&A. So on the first part, it's important that when you want to start with video analysis, you set up a clear goal of what you want to achieve. So it will probably be a first contact for your players with video analysis. So the most important is that you explain to them why you are doing it. In most cases, it's to improve your team's performance and their individual performances. It's important to make that clear to them, because for kids and youth players, it can come across as very direct, of telling them what they're doing wrong, and they'll be scared that video will only be used to tell them off and show them what they're not doing very well. Make sure also that their first contact is fun. It should be something positive. If the first contact with something new is a bit difficult, players will keep being afraid of it and not really liking it. So make sure you make it fun and you start with the positive things first, of course. Make sure as well that in the beginning, you let the players play around with the video analysis themselves a little bit as well. Let them watch clips themselves, maybe let them watch a full quarter and come up with 2-3 points that they find important. Really make it interactive. If you want to do this, you need some material, of course. The question I often get is what software to buy, what to work with. But I want to make sure and make it clear that for me, the most important thing is that the video is of a good quality. The software, you can always start very basic and even just work within in QuickTime, or just take a note and write down which minutes within the video you want to show. That can be very, very basic. But if you have bad quality film, that makes video analysis very difficult. It's very difficult for the players to then see what you mean on the video, for you to show it, for them to stay concentrated. So if you have to make any choices in what to buy, please invest in a good camera, and then later, if possible, invest in some good software. What's also important is a little bit how and where you will show the video. I know this is a bit different in every situation. So here in Belgium, we work in a club environment, and we often work in like a meeting room where there's one beamer for the whole club, and we share this. The quality is not always the best, or people are coming in and out of this room. It's important that when you show video, you can do this in good circumstances. That means, for example, when you show something on a big screen, make sure the lighting is okay. Because if you as a coach already have to look for which color, which team is playing in which color, it's not very clear. Imagine how difficult it is for a young player who's watching those clips for the very first time. So make sure the circumstances are correct and that you can show all the work that you did in a good way. If we then continue, I want to give you a little guideline on what you can do at what ages. Of course, this is a little bit from my own experience, and you often know your team the best. So if you have an under 14 team that is very mature, is playing in a top league, and you feel you can treat them as an under 16 team, please have a go and see what you can do with them. But this just as a little guideline. As this generation is really brought up with a screen in front of them, don't be afraid to use it. So even for me at training sessions, I was still brought up that you cannot use a phone on the field as when you give training, and that kind of stuff. For me, that changed a little bit now. In an under 12 team, I really dare to sometimes film something on training and just show it straight on my phone or on my iPad. And that's also an introduction to video analysis. So even in under 12, don't be afraid to film something. I wouldn't go to a setup with getting them in a room and in front of a big screen, but give them an introduction on showing some stuff on an iPad, on a cell phone, and show them some fun things. They scored a goal, show it, they did a good action, just give them a small introduction. Then for me, starting from under 14, we can really go and talk about a team analysis. In under 14, I would try and start getting them in a setup of a meeting room and getting them as a team together. In a first introduction, I would try and always talk about team results or team things to improve. I wouldn't go too individual yet. So what can you talk about? For example, you can show a goal that we scored, and then we can discuss how did we get to that goal? What did we do well? We can get a goal against, same thing, discuss what happened, where did we make some mistakes, what can we improve, and keep it very, very general. If in your under 14 team you feel like there is some room to work on some individual things, again, you feel that the best with which players this might be possible. My tip for you would be in under 14, start by doing this on a very individual level, so one-on-one, you and that player, before calling them out in front of a whole group, because that's still something a bit more difficult. If we then go to under 16, I would continue working on my team information. But if you want to go a bit more into detail, but still not make the meeting too long, I could divide it up in lines. So for example, in under 16, I would start, for example, if I want to talk about the press, I would take my attackers, show 3-4 clips and talk about their role as attackers. I would do the same then for 10 minutes with my midfielders and the same with my defenders. At the end of that meeting, I can then take them all together and maybe ask the attackers to tell the midfielders and the defenders what they're going to work on for the next game and how they're going to try and improve, or maybe tell them what they did very well. What happens then is that you have players that are sitting in a meeting for 10 minutes with their line, then have a little break, and then come back together as a team. So it breaks up the meeting and make sure it's not too long. For sure, in under 16, you can start working individually. You can do this one-on-one like you would do with under 14. But I think in under 16, it's also a good age group to introduce them to some peer assessment and getting some feedback in front of a group and in front of their teammates. In under 16, I would gradually start introducing some information on the opponent. A good first thing to start talking about the tactics of your opponent is the penalty corner. So show the penalty corner attack from your opponent, and then we discuss together how we're gonna fix this defensively. Same in your attack, you show the defensive penalty corner of your opponent, and together you find some solutions on how you're gonna try and score a goal. In under 19, of course, you go a little bit more into depth on all these different points. And that's where really on your opponent, you start breaking down their press, their outlet, how they counterattack, how they do their long corners. That's for me more on an under 19 level. Again, you can have small introductions